The most powerful rich families secretly ruling your world. The families that we will tell you in this video direct many things in the world and shape the future of millions of people with one move. Welcome to our channel. Here we are again with a brand new video. Today, we have listed the most powerful families that have influenced the world for you. While making the ranking, we did not primarily consider money, but rather the capacity of these families to get people to do what they want. Before we start our video, let's give a warning. We do not intend to target any family or individual in this video. This video is made for informational purposes only. Rothschild family. You may have heard the name of this family dozens of times in videos similar to this video. However, those who prepared these videos are not wrong. It would not be unfair to say that this family of Jewish origin, whose origins date back to Germany in the 1700s, is the inventor of modern banking. In summary, it may be more correct to say that they are masters of winning without producing. This family, which laid the foundation of the first international banking, namely usury, added wealth to their wealth in the wars during the Napoleonic era. The Rothschild family, which distributed loans to both the British and the French at that time, increased their fortunes almost 20 times when the war was completely over. Specializing in war credits, this family has over the years puppeted politicians who covertly supported wars and made warmongers. This was not enough for the Rothschild family, which took root from Switzerland to Austria and even from Italy to the United States. They also pioneered the modern practice of credit between states. Of course, they helped by giving high interest rates. How is it that this family, which has branches in many countries and is so influential in the financial sector, is never on the list of the richest people? The answer to this question is quite simple: because on paper they are not rich. Over time, they transferred many of their assets to foundations. The Rothschild family, who hold the boards of directors of these foundations, both benefit from the tax deductions granted to foundations and manage to keep people's attention away from them. The Rockefeller family, all is what makes the Rockefeller family rich and no longer an ordinary family. It all started in 1865 when John D. Rockefeller entered the oil trade. A single refinery soon became the United States' largest energy company, Standard Oil. Rockefeller, which became one-handed in the blink of an eye, quickly captured the oil market with the logistics fleet it established and the trucks it bought. He bought many oil wells cheaply, threatening his rivals not to distribute their goods. But things changed when famous inventor Henry Ford launched the Model T, which would become a classic. Rockefeller convinced Ford to use a gasoline engine in the production process instead of the battery-powered vehicles that were popular at the time. Money earned increased as automobile sales increased, and Rockefeller soon became the richest person in the world. He became so rich that the first one-hand case in world history was brought against him, and he lost this case. Standard Oil Company was divided into exactly 37 parts. But don't be fooled by this situation. This only led to the family taking their assets out of sight and directing them to foundations. What does the Rockefeller family do today other than lobbying for and electing a president? The family, which moved away from the energy sector in the 1970s, is currently engaged in fertilizer and seed business. Its foundations, which infiltrated the whole world using a World Health Organization, became the pioneer of sterile seeds and chemical fertilizers. Their excuse is also quite simple: no one should go hungry. The Morgan family. The dollar is the currency of the United States. It would not be an exaggeration to say that it is valid all over the world. The founder of the Morgan family, John Pierpont Morgan, is the person who made the dollar the strongest currency. This banker, who turned the financial crisis of 1893 into an opportunity, saved the dollar from the gold standard and made all the investors in the world trust only a piece of paper. During this period, there was a huge boom in the American stock markets, and as a result, incredible amounts of capital were collected. As money continued to flow into the stock market, the Morgan family gained. The Morgan family, which established a large investment bank in the stock market, was not limited to the financial sector. They have invested in many different fields. For example, the Morgan family, who entered the press industry by buying the railway, steel industry, and even the New York Times, managed to write their name in history as the first modern holding. Although the family tried to get closer to the Republican Party at first, today it is a full supporter of the Democratic Party. So far, 7 U.S. Federal Reserve presidents have been selected from among the former employees of the Morgan family. Although the reputation of the family was damaged due to the economic crisis in 2008, they managed to destroy the American people financially. Another little note: today, 2 of the 3 major credit rating agencies are under the direct control of the family. The DuPont family. This family, whose origins are based in France, was an intermediary in the sale of the French colony to America just before the French Revolution and could not stay in Europe much. In a short time, the family moved their assets to America and invested money in the production of household goods such as Teflon plastic. Their investment started to pay off when the American Army entered World War I. The DuPont family alone met the Army's supply needs for tomorrow. As World War I dragged on, the DuPont family added to their money. After the war ended, the family's income continued to multiply. The Germans, who lost the war, had to pay the war reparations with the debts they took from the DuPont family. The enrichment of the family did not end there. Guess who got the American Army supplies when World War II broke out? Of course, from the DuPont family. The family, which makes money by financing the atomic bombs and other explosives produced by the USA and dropped on Japan, has started to invest in genetic research and health sector today, collecting the original seeds of more than 20,000 plant varieties from all over the world as a precaution against a possible disaster. The family conducts genetically modified food research in the so-called shelter they have established. By spreading genetically modified seeds, they aim to end normal agriculture as well. To summarize, the DuPont family produced 1 out of every 4 seeds sold in the world. Bush family. It would not be an exaggeration to say that the Bush family is the most prominent family in the world and whose connections reach the darkest corners. George H.W. Bush's stories, which begin with his grandfather, date back to the lobbies that financed the Nazis. On the one hand, as the war continued, the companies run by the Bush family were taking advantage of the free labor prisoners in Nazi concentration camps. After the war ended, George Bush, aka Bush, who started working with the American Secret Service, came to an important position in the war process with NATO. The Bush family, who distributed millions of dollars in bribes in the process of selling American-made weapons to NATO countries, obtained many dirty connections in these countries. The Bush family, which undersigned many of the coups carried out by the USA in South America, added wealth to their wealth thanks to the opportunities offered by the dictators in these countries. Their influence increased so much in the war industry and the Republican Party era that Bush the father became first vice president and then president. While his father went to war with Iraq, his eldest son Iraq, who was elected president exactly 20 years later, invaded Afghanistan later on.